Hello friends! Let me fix up my paint palette. Hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. I am preparing this gigantic monstrosity and this gigantic monstrosity to paint Kung Fu, but we are not there yet. I have some more gut filling and stuff to go, but their bases are done. This chick's massive. It's going to be exciting. I was contemplating painting her today, but instead I think we'll paint this little guy. Hello, Sean. This little guy is Morg, who's a little survivor in stuff. It's going well, yes. It's been a full-on couple of weeks for me. I obviously got back from Crimson and then headed to Adelaide for work. Then I'm off to Adelaide again in 2 weeks. 1 week. It's only a week away, Mossy. And then I'm into Townsville a couple of weeks after that. So, all happening. Bit disjointed at the moment. In terms of painting, anyway. Painting's always been something where when I have a flow, like I'm just constantly doing something each day, it's really easy to get into the routine and easy to maintain the rage. Hello there, Minimancer. But when you get out of that loop, I find it a lot more challenging to stay focused, if you will. So on my flights to Adelaide, I started rewatching Altered Carbon. It's a very clever show. It's a very clever show. Really makes you think a lot about a variety of things. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. I think I'm going to try and watch season 2 this time. I haven't watched season 2. For those that have watched season 1, yeah, it's probably a bit hard to describe without spoiling the context of the show, but it's kind of a show about body switching, sort of, not really. But the second season has a different lead actor, and it has and it really kind of closed off the storyline in a really satisfying way. It's called Altered Carbon, Gone Beyond One. You'll find it on Netflix. So yeah, highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Colours that we want to use for this guy's gear. Morg. He's got a lot of skin, but is that a filthy mould line, don't I? Let's go with this one. Ugh. See, it's Busy time, busy time. Also adding into the mix, looking around at houses to try and move into a slightly larger space. So Mossy's not constantly complaining about me being up in her grill. Hey Moss. It's a good way of describing it, Sebastian. Stressful but exciting. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty settled where I am. So contemplating the move is a little bit stressful, and the idea of packing everything that I have up, not ideal. Hello, paint liquor. Not a fun thought exercise, but in theory, I'll get a dedicated painting area and a dedicated games room, and that'll be awesome, but a lot of work to get there. See, I thought I filled that gap in. I thought that I had prepared this guy for painting. I have not. Mistake! How can I rectify that? I guess we just mix up a little bit of this. It's a lot more than I need, but I need to make sure I mix up the even amount. Yeah. So look, everything's going well. It's just a lot. You know how it is. Been playing local games. Yeah, the difference between gaming and painting. Why I sort of do stuff on my YouTube channel on gaming, but then not so much painting, is, as I said, I find it really easy to just sit down and play a game, but to get into the right flow, once I start painting something, it's usually just like, yeah, sick. But until that occurs, get on there, you fuck. I wouldn't advise doing what I'm doing very often, friends. This is a very quick drying putty. It's also not very good at smoothing out. And as you can see, it's pulling the paint up, which is not really what we want, but Is it raining today, is it? Where you are? Yeah. Well, as I said not long ago, I was in Adelaide this week, and I had something that occurred that's probably never occurred in my life and may never occur again, which is I was in the hottest place in the world. Adelaide was officially the hottest place in the world on Wednesday this week, and I was there. And I was outside too.
What was the temperature?
46 degrees Celsius was the temperature.
What's that? Fahrenheit?
In Fahrenheit, that's fucking hot.
114.
114 degrees for those in Fahrenheit world. Yes, it was an experience. In the world. Hottest place in the world. Crazy.
Usually I'm the hottest place in the world.
Oh, Mossy. Can you relax? Yeah, it was full on. Alright. So now I'll just get a little bit of PVA and we should be back in action. Mossy, you got a shopping list?
Yeah.
Can you put PVA on it, please? So throw some ideas at me, right? Here's something I'm going to do when we move into the new house. We're obviously going to have a dedicated games room. What's some absolute must-haves in a fully dedicated, gigantic games room? What do we got? So obviously we've got the cabinet with all of the games, or shelf, or whatever. And then for me, who does a lot of filming, I'm also going to have stuff attached to the roof so that I can attach cameras and lights properly in unobtrusive and good ways. Spike pit, probably not high on the list, but we'll put it on the list. Yeah, fridge, good one. I want to do walls look like they're made out of medieval stone. How cool would that be? Mossy's not a fan. Alright. I'll just keep drying that for a bit more. Fake torches. Yes, let's go fake torches. Heck, let's go real torches. Yeah, Quiff, good call. Lighting, essential. And yeah, it'd be cool to have like LED lights and stuff. Well, I want to do one of those setups where you have like, hey Alexa, it's game time, and then wham bam, on turns all this awesome lighting. Cool stuff like that. Yeah, I've always just had my painting area tucked into whatever little nook or cranny I could find. Never really had a fully. No, he's wearing a suit on that leg, don't I? Okay, regen suit. Cool. So yeah, to have a big proper space will be sick. Well, I have a giant cabinet already. Of all of my toys that are on display, but I'd really like to get a second one so I can display all of my games models that I've painted as well. At the moment, the only thing that's on display is Kingdom Death and Primal. Yep, The Awakening. One more see. But I've painted Rising Sun, painted Nemesis, I've painted Aeon Trespass. So it'd be cool to have all those on display as well. Let's actually use a wash, I reckon. Let's use this. This guy looks quite athletic. Ooh, I've also painted Oathsworn. I would love if there was an app or a program or something that was able to just turn around and go, "Hello, Trent. You have painted 5,712 models in your life." Or whatever the number was. I wonder if I could ballpark it, approximate it. How many figures do you reckon you painted in your life? Fuck me. Because when I was playing Warhammer, you know, you'd paint 100 to, I think I did 300 models in a Skaven army once. At least 12. Good observation. If I went through and calculated... Yeah, Skulls and Candles is a good call. That'd be sick. I went through it. I reckon I could probably remember every army I painted. And I could probably approximate how many figures I painted for each. And then I did write down a list of all the models I painted, but there's no way I could figure out my board games. Blacklight would be cool. What book was it? I always take my little Kobo when I travel. Don't always read it, but I always take it. Where's me light flesh? There you are. Very funny today, Sebastian. I recall that being the case very often. Wow. That sounds pretty full on. I have a lot of respect for people who can read non-fiction books. I tried and failed. Non-fiction books, not for the big demo. He reads them all the time. Respect. Oh, Sebastian, I meant to say to you the other day, well, this is probably the first time, but Wheel of Time Season 3! It's like 2 weeks away! Get in! Let's go! Yeah, we've got Wheel of Time. Severance is currently on Season 2, which is actually very exciting for people who watch Severance. Probably one of the best shows of the last few years. And then we got Reacher Season 3 as well, which is exciting. number of good shows. Yeah, I was thinking of doing a rewatch of Wheel of Time, just to get me in the headspace. There was a lot of people who were quite critical of the show when it first came out. So it'd be interesting to see where people have ended up after. The second season was widely considered much better, so it'd be cool to see if people feel the same after the third. It's a book series I'm very passionate about. It's the only book series I have a tattoo of. Yeah, people are miserable, mate. Alright. So the skin tone is very hard to get a read on because everything else that's happening. So let's make everything else a little bit more readable. I think as a society, and I know I go on some weird tangents, right? But it's become cool to be hate on stuff and like talk about how bad things are. I mean, fucking YouTube channels and stuff just basically have built their entire following on talking about how bad stuff is. And maybe I go too far the other way, which is I just get excited about how cool things are all the time. But I don't know. I'd much rather be excited about what something has to offer than upset about what it doesn't. And I have a wonderful friend who, every time we watch a TV show or a movie or anything like that, I'll be like, it was awesome. It was one of the best shows I've watched. And his perspective is that it's terrible and he hates it. And we just fundamentally disagree. And that's okay. Like, we don't need to agree on everything, but my point that I'm trying to make is that I think he is just never going to enjoy his life as much as I enjoy my life. Because everything's bad to him. Do you know who I'm talking about, Mossy? Who?
Emily.
Yep. Yeah. I agree, Mini Mansa. It does not make any sense to me at all. But that's okay. People are allowed to do whatever they want, but I would like to enjoy my life and enjoy all the positive things that I have in it. This figure is proving more difficult than I anticipated. Probably unsurprisingly, because I haven't painted for about 4 weeks. Hi, Time Stop. Yes, Dave and I are at probably the most opposite ends of the spectrum that you could get. I could paint a display piece to a reasonably high standard in approximately 3 to 4 hours. Dave would spend 50 to 60 hours on a piece, Morning Craigsog. That is admittedly a much, much higher quality, but to the layman, the ability to differentiate between those two is pretty hard. And in fact, I've done so on this stream. People have watched me paint stuff in a extremely quick time frame. Some of the people on this stream have even purchased the things that I've done in a quick time frame. So Dave and I have had a number of conversations about this. We are both comfortable with where we find ourselves. You know, there was a period in time where he and I were both sort of about the same time frame and about the same level. This is going back a few years ago now, quite a few years ago. Early 2015, 2016, we were both attending Crystal Dragons and competing for the awards, and we just went in very, very different directions. And we've talked about it. It's quite funny. But the key is enjoying what you do. Dave loves all of the insights and all of the conversations and all of the ins and outs of the miniature painting, and he loves thinking about everything over and over, and he wants to talk about it, he wants to understand it, and he wants to really explore all of those aspects. I just want to paint cool toy soldiers. And that's it. That's where we sort of find ourselves. And there's no right or wrong. Like, DC loves what he does. I love what I do. But yeah, can I paint quicker than him to a similar standard? Yes. But I can probably answer that to just about everyone in the world. I don't think there's many people that would be in that same ballpark. That might be my ego talking. I do have a healthy ego. You laughing, Mossy?
Funny one.
You think that's funny? Good work. Very healthy. There's probably a few people who'd be in the conversation for speed. Marco Frazzoni, very quick, very good. Vince Venturella, he's very quick. Very good. Someone like Angel Geraldez, very quick. Anyone else spring to mind? I mean, I think Eric Swinson's pretty quick for what he punches out, but he's still like hours and hours at a time. Vincy. Love Vincy. He's just actually one of the nicest people as well. Golden brown, texture like sun. Yeah, there's lots of people who are fast, you know. I'm taller than Eric. There's only one miniature painter that I've met who is of an equivalent height to me. And that is the great Kirill Knave. He's a monster.
What, Jared?
Jared doesn't count. Jared's nothing. Jared's irrelevant. We don't talk about Jared. Yeah, no. Eric is very tall, but I am taller than Eric, and that's all that needs to be said. Pretty funny to think about that, maybe. Yeah, Vinci's quite tall. I had a lovely interview with Vince on his channel. Interview with the Artist, it was called. Had a great time. I was back in my really trying to get good era. Or as my brother-in-law said last night, my reputation era. My brother, Kirill's a monster. It was my sister's 40th birthday last night, so we had a little party. She had a little party. I had nothing to do with it, but my brother-in-law set up a little quiz about her, which was quite funny. And he separated the questions into Taylor Swift eras. So there was the 1985 era, which is funny because that was the year that my sister was born. And then there was a Reputation era, etc., etc. It was quite funny. He's a very nice man, my brother-in-law. My sister's punching. It's the final countdown. We'll leave it tonight. I swear there is nowhere to run. We'll leave it down. Who's punching harder, me or my sister? Mossy's in the room next door, so the correct answer is me.
Oh, you are for sure.
Am I? Am I? Without a doubt, she reckons. It's me. happy with that, aren't you, Moss?
Not true.
You know it's true, she says. So let me tell you a little bit about this guy in the game. His name is Morg, and he comes from a line of characters which are called the Indomitable Survivors. And the reason they're called Indomitable Survivors is when you face a level 3 version of a monster in the universe of Kingdom Death, they all universally have a rule which is called Indomitable. And what that rule does is at the end of any attack that you may be attacking a monster, it will automatically stand up. Now, one of the key strategies in the early game particularly is you knock a monster down and then you wail on it while it's knocked on the ground. It's easier to hit, it doesn't react to you. Like normally when you hit a monster it will react. So yeah, you ignore reactions when a monster's knocked down. So a very common strategy is to knock the monster down and then wail on them. But when you get to level 3, that strategy goes out the window because of this rule called Indomitable. And so in the recent Gambler's Chest expansion of the game, they added this type of resource which is called an Indomitable resource. So if you defeat a level 3 monster, you will draw from a deck of Indomitable resources. And not every monster has those. They're releasing them over the next few releases. So, but they came out, hello pun expected, they came out with this line of individual releases called Indomitable Survivor, blah blah. And what they do is they add an Indomitable resource to, hey Sammy, to each or to model in the game. So these little packs that you buy have one model, and then the Indomitable resource, and each Indomitable resource has a cool weapon that you can craft. So for this particular survivor, the cool weapon that he can craft is the one that he's carrying right now, and that weapon is called the Greatest Gax. The monster that this guy is associated with is called the Gorm. The Gorm is a big fat elephant baby headed thing with a clitoris in its mouth and all sorts of other weird stuff going on. There's a little Gorm head on his shoulder. So this guy is a Gorm hunter, hence why on the ground there's a Gorm head and on his shoulder there's a Gorm head. And the weapon that he crafts is an axe, which is a bigger version of, there's two other weapons you can craft from the Gorm. There's one called the Gax, which is Gorm axe, in case you're wondering, or a greater Gorm axe, or greater Gax. This one is called the Greatest Gax. And that is a little insight into what is happening with this figure. The artwork for this guy is outrageously cool. It's like 80s rock. He's got electricity in the background. It just looks like Wild Stallions or something like that, you know. I love it. Thank you, Sammy, for getting my joke. Does NMM become better, easier? Yes, absolutely it does. Absolutely, NMM becomes easier. Where most people fall down is they don't use reference material. Just go and have a look at someone who's painted the same model in NMM as you. Look at where they've placed the light, try and replicate it, and try and understand why they've done it and the way they've done it. After you do that a few times, it all starts to make sense. But NMM's also very much a style thing. You know, everyone has a different way of doing it. My way, very different to Swinson's way, very different to Kirill's way. Everyone's way is very different to Kirill's. But, you know, practice, practice, practice is always the key, particularly in miniature painting. I wrote a wonderful article that talks about this because a lot of people, you know, go to a class or they do something and they think, oh cool, I've read an article, I can do this now. But they miss the most important part of... Is it raining, Mossy?
No.
Oh. The most important part of the process, which is practice. When you practice, your brain gets programmed in how to do things, and you learn things in different ways. So, you know, you just have to get in there and do it over and over, and that will eventually result in a positive outcome. Purulent yellow, yes, dinner. Why not? I do enjoy painting myself. But I'm actually just following the artwork for this guy, mate. So. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I want it now. So I'm very excitedly awaiting the arrival of a big board game. It's been years in the making. Kickstarter, The Elder Scrolls, finally on its way to backers. That's a nice feeling, isn't it? There was one day I remember very early on where Angel Geraldez commented on one of my posts, and my brother-in-law, who I've spoken about twice on this stream. He still is, I guess, big into Infinity and loves painting Infinity models. And so he's got all of Angel's books, and he saw this post from Angel on one of my posts, Angel, and he was just like, "Oh my god, that's so awesome!" It was awesome. I've really gone off the boil on my Instagram posts. Haven't posted on there in months, really. Ever since I started streaming, I really stopped. Like, I used to post my progress every day. I'd take a photo at the end of my little painting sesh, and then, hey Alexi. Yeah, I used to just post on there all the time, but has not been the case for a couple of years now. No, not since I got a girlfriend, Mossy, thank you. Now here we are, we're the princes of the universe. Here we belong, fighting for survival. I've got to be the ruler of you all. Bit of Highlander. Mossy's mouthing off a lot today, I've got to tell you. Saturation, look at my yellow hair.
Want to use some real hair?
No,
I think you do.
stop trying to give me your hair, woman.
Could you use it?
Yes, RS London, it is a wonderful solo game. It's pretty much the only way I play, although very recently I did get to experience it with a friend, which was wonderful. But yes, it is a soloable game, and many people would say that it is better at solo or two rather than multiplayer, because there is a number of instances where people die, and if you were playing 4 players, that person would be sitting there while everyone else keeps having a fun time. So, yes, absolutely. And g'day, Paul. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul. Just advance warning, it is a lot. What are you doing? You give me some of your hair. Thank you, Emma. Lots of hair for us to paint with.
Put it on my head.
Put it on their head, woman. You want to come and say hello?
No, thank you.
Why not?
Someone said put it on the hair.
Who?
Sebastian said put it on the head.
He didn't. He said the Moss Boss. Does everyone want to see a funny interview that I did with Emma at Crimson? What are you doing?
Showing on my hair.
That's like half of your hair. You good?
Yeah.
Weirdo. Getting rid of your hair from my shot. And here we are. Yeah, just advance warning if you are looking at getting into Kingdom Death, there is probably not a more inaccessible game to try and get into. There is a myriad of expansions and content and stuff. If you are getting into it for the very first time, the only thing you need to purchase, literally the only thing, is the core box Kingdom Death Monster, which most of the time retails for $400 US. However, if you buy it at Black Friday, you'll usually get it for cheaper. If you're looking to buy a second thing, then the thing that I would recommend is the Gambler's Chest, which is a gigantic expansion. It runs for $420, I think. The expansion costs more than the game. Crazy, I know, but there it is. And that is the only content you would need for a very, very long time. Both of those two boxes have so much content to go through. I am probably one of the people in the world, I don't reckon there'd be many, I reckon there'd be maybe 100 to 200 people who have played every campaign that the game has available against every monster that the game has available, and utilised probably every piece of gear or I haven't used every piece of gear, but I've seen the majority of what the game has to offer at this point in time. I've played, what am I at now? 18 campaigns, I think. And I reckon there'd only be 4 or 5 people in the world that have played more. Once again, my ego probably talking there. I don't know how many years, but I've played it a lot. It's my favourite game. So I'm probably not the best person to ask about if you should play it, because I'll always say yes. Yeah. And see, that's it. Like, it just takes a huge amount of dedication to be able to play and to get through that. And I've done the majority of that solo. I've played campaigns with 2 other people, full campaigns, and then I played a couple of sessions with a couple of other people as well. So it's a lot. It's just a huge investment of time, and when there's so many good games to play, so you kind of have to play solo. I haven't played it with Mossy. I keep asking her if she wants to. Yeah, and she keeps saying no, but she does want to fight the monster with penises, don't you, Mossy? You do. I don't reckon anyone's painted every model to a decent standard. I said when I first started painting my Kingdom Death collection that I wanted to have the best painted collection in the world, and I've certainly got a good collection. Like, I think it would be up there. But yeah, there's a guy who has a thread on BGG called Manu Miniatures. Fuck me, his models are unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And then yeah, there's obviously a dude called, what is it, Gustavo Munoz, who's painting a set at the moment. He's only done like 10 models, but it's absolutely the best painted 10 models. Swinson's done a lot. He's a Kingdom Death fan. He's played the game a lot, so his collection is pretty baller. But yeah, I've painted every monster that is available and is playable. I've painted them all. And very soon I'll be painting this guy, the Nightmare Ram, and this guy, the Oblivion Mosquito. Bit bigger than normal. Boop. So they're next cabs off the rank for my Kingdom Death. Neither of those have rules yet, though. Although I think the Nightmare Ram's coming in a few months, maybe a few months, something like that. Someone will quote me who knows more than I do. Mossy had a great time when I did the frog dog. She thought it was the best that I was putting poo all over the model. She thought it was absolutely the funniest thing ever.
Put it all over your shirt too.
I did get it all over my shirt. Thank you. If you have any poo, fling it now, Mossy. Alright, I did my little gourmet with purple head and purple skin, so I reckon we'll go for little purple ones. Little purple baby heads. So yeah, I didn't stream last week, and I don't think I streamed the week before on the Sunday morning. Maybe I did stream the week before because I think that was the week after Crimson, so I definitely streamed then. But yeah, it's been a bit of a, as I said, disjointed period of time, and so it's been hard to find any rhythm when it comes to little toy soldier painting. So it's nice to paint some toys, but I'm just, yeah, I bet he was. Still trying to find a new routine with work and everything. A new job. Having another person living with me. Killing my fucking vibe. Hey Moss. What? Creating a vibe. Alright, so what do we got left? Oh, and just so everyone knows, Mossy and I watched a movie the other night. It was called, what was it called, Mossy?
Kind of pregnant.
Kind of Pregnant.
Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer.
It was terrible.
0 out of 10. Would not recommend.
Rotten Tomatoes, 24%.
Good facts there from you, Mossy.
You're welcome.
Which stream are you a mod for now? I'll have to go and sabotage it. It is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life. So,
You laughed a few times.
I did laugh a few times. I laughed at what I was doing with my life. Thought to myself, why am I subjecting myself to this?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is not a good enough reason to watch Amy Schumer. Greatest painter in Australia, Alexi. Yeah, fair enough. I did actually go onto his stream the other night and give him some rubbish because he said in his tagline, "Come watch me as I awkwardly paint and talk about painting." And I said, "This is awkward," and that was pretty much my only contribution to the stream. I watched for half an hour. Too much talking for my liking. Not enough painting. Yeah, R.S. Blunden watched it last night with his wife as well, Mossy. So
Good on him.
no, not good on him.
What did you give it out of 10?
Mossy wants to know what you gave it out of 10, R.S. Blunden. Exactly, mate. Like, what's the point of having a painting stream if you're not going to fucking paint? Oh, Blood Rain. Blood Rain was good. I loved Blood Rain. I watched that many, many years ago. Isn't that Uwe Boll? Didn't he direct that? He directed a couple of absolute Barry Crockers back in that time frame, back in that era. I don't know why people kept giving him money to make films. Yeah, I think that one is Marlon Wayans, maybe. He's quite funny. He was in another show I liked, which is called Happy Endings, I think it was called. That's a good show. I liked that show. Yeah, fuck, Uwe Boll. I think Uwe Boll did a Dungeon Siege movie, and it starred Jason Statham, and also the dude who played Hellboy, Ron Perlman. I feel like he was in it too, and it was just so bad. But it was at a time when Dungeon Siege had really like taken off, and they were trying to do good films based on video games. Uwe Boll had like 4 of them. None of them were good. Yeah, Happy Endings was good, Alexi. I think it was 3 seasons maybe, but it was too short. Eliza Coupe, Marlon Wayans, Alicia Cuthbert. Every time I say drama, it's from that show. And I don't know if anyone's actually heard me say that, but I do say that. There's a few of my favourite TV shows where I've picked up little sayings from. Anytime I say mistake, that's from Scrubs. And a lot I say from The Simpsons as well. And Futurama. I used to say, anytime I was about to say something offensive, I used to say, I'm a whale biologist, which is a great Futurama joke that pretty much no one ever got when I said it. Maybe this crowd will. Maybe this crowd will get it. Scrubs does have a lot of good quotes. Mossy's never watched it. Maybe we'll start watching it now.
Simpsons.
Scrubs. What?
You're a scrub.
I'm a scrub. The stuff that comes out of your mouth, Mossy, is absolutely unacceptable. You can't just snort to yourself over there.
I'm funny.
You're funny, are you? Well done. Clouds are far behind me. Trouble like lemon drops high. It's a lovely show. I probably watch that show once every year or two, and have done for the last maybe 10 years. Real comfort show. There's I recently rewatched Black Sails. I'm sure I talked about it, but fuck me, that's a good show. It'd be a pretty cool life if you could just watch awesome TV shows over and over. Really? Alright, friends, I'm going to finish up shortly. I know this guy's not quite done, but he's not far off. So, I'll be heading off into the wild blue yonder. Today's actually the first day that I don't have anything to do for a while. So I'm very excited about that. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. Yes, very good. As we said, very quotable, very funny. Betrayal 5 is excellent. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How they fought with expert timing. Ooh. 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 He's a funky China man from funky Chinatown. Morg. Oh, I haven't seen them. Yes, you are obviously a fellow Scrubs aficionado, and I approve of this message. Gravy! Where is that colour that I'm looking for? It's got a fucking red thing. There it is. Stick note! ba, ba, ba. My French for Kids. That was a wonderful episode. Yes, yeah, it's probably at 7 or 8 watches for me, and I'd be happy to put it on right now and start watching again. It just manages to strike a wonderful balance of comedy and emotion. Am I a Superman? I'm no Superman. I'm no Superman. So I'm going to use a lot of blood effects on this guy because I can. He's going to be glistening. Glistening, I say. Cause this is Thriller night, and no one's gonna save me. Oh no, it's Thriller night, Thriller tonight. Alright, just go a smidge of purple from underneath, and that will be very close to finished, I reckon. Well, when I say finished, I mean the airbrushing and all the other stages, and we can go into the final highlight stage, which is when things start to actually look good. Yeah, that's one. That's one I've used all the time. All the time. Along with a wonderful quote from an Eddie Murphy movie, which is called, what was the movie called? I Spy, with Owen Wilson. He goes, "You can be 007, I'll be 009 and a half." So good. So good. Fuck me, that movie was good. Where is my fucking purple? Fuck me. There it is. Alrighty. Well, friends, it's been a lovely time spending some time with you this morning. Gonna put some snakebite leather on this base and some Creed camo in this base, and we're gonna rack up for the day. Maybe not the day. I have done a little bit of painting the last couple of weeks after stream. Well, the last few times I've streamed, I should say. But we're all going to have a wonderful week. I can feel it in my waters. Hey, Jared. See you, mate. Yes, I am leaving. Yeah, good to get back on the wagon. As I said, been a little while. Work, life, you know how it is. But I tell you what, I don't feel guilty. It's important not to feel guilty. We stream for fun. Yeah, Mossy and I are going to go to Ark, I think. Aren't we, Moss?
Yeah.
May? I don't know what I'll have painted for it, but I've got... What can I take to Ark? Yeah, I'll paint some stuff. I'm pretty sure you won't be going, mate. I'm pretty sure you'll pull out at the last minute. Ruin the weekend for everyone that was expecting you to be there. You know? Just Jared things, we like to call it these days. So. Alright, friends, have a fantastic week. Love you, Jared. We'll talk soon. Big Dano.